Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Daddy Easy here. Not going to get into an intro. You already know why. Welcome to the Sunday Chat Commentary. And we're going to get into everything as you know, today is Sunday. And we're going to talk about this monitor right here. This is an accidental buy. I didn't mean to buy this. I'm going to talk about that in a second. It's just, this is like the sixth time me doing this video because the video went all the way up to almost 20 minutes. It didn't need to be that long. But a lot of you guys been hitting me up in the comments and on my social media pages asking me about this monitor, so I just decided to make a video because nobody's actually talking about this video, and I guess I'm like the few people that actually brought this. So this is the budget-friendly monitor right here. It comes in very, very cheap. Best Buy currently you can get this at $559 and change. With tax come out to $600 almost even, probably $1, $2 off. Currently right now on the website is $699. So the model right here, this is the ROG Strix QD OLED, the XG27ACDMS. Just keep that in mind. This does not have RGBs in the back. The other models do, depending on how much you spend. This does come with one HDMI port, which is a HDMI 2.1 that does support VRR and ALLM. So if you are those console gamers, PlayStation 5 gamers, you do have the support, and Xbox gamers, you do get that support also. You do get one DP port, which is a display port that has 1.2 to 1.4 on top of that. It does come with one USB-C video pass-through that does support, I think, 15 or 16 watts of power, so you can charge up your phones. You can connect your laptop towards it, but it's not going to give you enough of that power to actually like fully charge your laptop, but just enough so you can run. You still need to run a power supply on top of it. So we're going to talk about the things I like, the things I don't like, and the reason why I said this is an accidental purchase. Now, let's talk about the accidental purchase before I get more into the specs like that, so you guys can kind of understand. I was purchasing a LG Ultra Gear monitor, which is the ultra wide ones. I was getting I think it was a 34-inch or 40 something. I don't remember the size. I think it was a 40 or 47. I think it was a 47-inch, 46, whatever. I was currently buying that because it does have the same specs on it as this one, but this one is a little bit different. That one does have video pass-through also. That allows you to just use USB-C to C to connect your phones, tablets. If you got like a fold phone or a Galaxy phone, you do get decks and stuff like that. Your tablets, your handhelds like your RG Allies or your Legion Go 2s, Legion Go's, any handheld basically like that. And you could pass through it and use it like that to play it like that with a monitor instead of using it actually like that. Also your phones and things like that. So after buying this thing and playing with it and realizing this is not the correct monitor I wanted, the monitor I wanted was actually the one that supported 4K. I think that was 4K at 240 hertz or I think 500 hertz. I don't remember the model number, but there is another model that you could get that you can spend about $899. I think it's $879 or $899. That model is the exact same model as this one. It does come with two HDMI. No, yeah, it comes with two HDMIs and one display port, but the HDMI is the same as this one with 2.1. You do get the video pass through. You do get the USB A. Then you do get the other USB. I forgot the actual. I think it's USB B. So you can connect it towards it. You do get two extra USB. I think it's 2.0s or 3.0 or 3.2 ports on top of it. You do get the RGBs in the back. So that's worth more of the money. Only problem is, which I'm going to get to the negatives now. The negatives that I don't like about this thing, which I'm going to get the negatives out the way first, instead of making you guys wait towards the end of the movie to find out what the negatives is. The negatives on this monitor is it's basically 26.5 inches from 27 inches, which is about 5 centimeters off from being actual 27 inch. All right. When I did measure this up with my other monitors, it is about the same size. The only problem is that this has a little bit extra bezels. You have a smaller bezel here, which is the chin. Then you get that extra bezel, which is kind of small, but you still get that in-monitor bezel on top of it. So you get that bezel on top of a bezel, which I kind of don't like, which takes away the actual size of it. The monitor is 27 inch, but you know how it is. But I would prefer a 31 inch or a 32 whatever inch monitor compared over that, just to have a bigger screen on top of it. That's one of the things I don't like about this monitor. The second thing I don't like about this monitor is the constant cleaning of pixels. You have to do a pixel burning clean, then you have to do a pixel cleaning on top of it. And like, just like this, if you leave your monitor static like this, you're gonna have to constantly keep doing pixel things. Now, I do have the monitor set up to basically remind me when it needs to do a cleaning. So basically what happens is that when my monitor predict that I'm about to get pixel burn, it'll automatically tell me clean the monitor. And this happened to me a couple of times, and this is why I don't like it, because the simple fact is I was inside game playing Battlefield, playing Call of Duty, and the thing popped up. Now, I only had this monitor for probably about 4 to 5 days now, and out of that 4 to 5 days, I've got multiple pop-ups saying clean the monitor. And then the thing is, I don't even let the monitor stay on compared towards my other monitors like I have, like this one in the back right there, which cut off already. I normally let my monitors go to sleep, or I normally keep it on because I normally use LED monitors or IPS. I barely use LED. I normally use LED monitors like that, but not QDLAs or LEs, OLED monitors. So I barely use those because the simple fact is burning and stuff like that. Even my Legion Go 2, I keep that on. That's an OLED, so I don't have to really worry about more of the burning as much, because I do have video wallpapers that run in the background just to keep it moving so I don't get that static burning. So I constantly have something that's constantly moving in the background so I don't get that burning. But on top of that, it just constantly keeps going off. So within the 4 to 5 days I had it, I probably had to do about 7 pixel cleanings and 6 pixel burn-ins, repairs. So it's the pixel cleaning and the pixel burn-in cleanings that I had to do a couple of times already. That's very ignoring. The screen size 26.5, I didn't like that. So let's get towards some of the pros on here, and this is what you guys probably want to talk. Reason why I came to the video to find out. It's a good video. It's a good monitor. It supports 0.3 on your response time, 280 hertz. At 1440p. You can do an upscaling if you want to. Just go into the settings, and it does support upscaling at 280 hertz on top of that. You do have extra settings that you could go in and change it down and get some of the extra things on it. I'm not going to go on to that. I'm not going to go much of everything on here. One thing I do want to point out towards this, if you're a console gamer, you can get this. This is the cheaper model towards this. Like I said, this is $559 at Best Buy. Currently right now on the website is $699. If you're a console gamer, you will love this, because the simple fact, not only does it have HDMI 2.1 with VRR and ALLM, you do get, when you enable it, you do get the FPS counter on here, which if you're on consoles, it's very accurate for FPS counters. So if you want to find out exactly how good the FPS counter is on here, and you want to find out how your games is running on consoles, especially on PS5, use the FPS counter that comes with it. I found it accurate. When you do it on PC and using display, you have to do a certain setup for it. So make sure that your frames is running accurate, because it's going by the internals on the screen, how you're getting your frames per second. What you basically want to do is you want to turn FPS counter on your console first. Let the console run its diagnostics, stuff like that. So basically when you have the console and you put it on, it's going to register the frames on that and kind of like remember, okay, this is a console. Then when you go towards your games, you pop it inside the games, let it sit idle on your display at 280 hertz. Then when you put the game on, it's going to like calculate itself, say, okay, this is a game. Put on the FPS counter on the game. Like, so if it's either Steam overlay or NVIDIA's overlay or MSI Afterburner, once the monitor sees those FPSs, it's going to start adjusting itself, and it's going to start giving you accurate readings. That's what I had to do to basically fix it. I don't know why it worked. I don't know what the technology is on it, but it worked for me, and I'm telling you, it could work for you. I'm not completely sure. Other technology on this is with the screen dimming, for, like I said, so you don't get LED burn-in or pixel cleaning that you have to do. It does have this nanotechnology. So basically what happens is you have to do a test on here. So it does like a little distance calibration on top of it. So you do the calibration, you set it up, you sit in front of the monitor, and it takes your measurement how far you went for it. So if I do the measurement like right here, then anytime I come right here, the monitor will wake itself up. But because I did the test where I'm sitting at currently right now, when I come in front of the monitor, anytime I sit right here and the monitor goes dim, so if I get up right now and step over there, the monitor's gonna get dim like within 5 minutes. That's what I put it for, but you can put it down lower. I normally put it down a little bit lower. Then it'll just completely turn off. Once I sit back in this chair, the monitor will come on by itself. I don't have to touch no keyboard or the mouse, and it automatically comes on. Or if I just come like this, it'll turn itself on automatically. I will try to show that in separate part of the video. I might do another update towards the video before I return this thing back. If I return it back, I'm not completely sure. The other thing that I do like about this monitor is that I actually do have one thing that I need to tell you guys that's actually bad about this monitor, and it's a big hassle on top of it. There's a setting called sniper. It's called a sniper mode. Basically what it does is it allows you to get like this magnifying glass on top of it, and it zooms in. It's basically like, I guess you can do it in regular games by going to accessibilities and put it in and try to put it in like that. I'm getting text messages like crazy. I'm getting text messages. I'm sorry like that, guys. But it just puts up this magnifying glass, and anything that's inside that red dot, basically what happens in the red dot is about static, about that small, but whatever comes inside that magnifying glass, inside that red dot, it gets like a pulsating purplish, pinkish, reddish, like it doesn't pulsate, but it looked like it pulsates. But whatever that target moves in and out of that target, the red dot would get real big, letting you know that the target's right there to shoot. So it like literally tells you to shoot, but it's just telling you visually that something is inside of it. So that's the one thing I like about it. The big thing that I don't like about this monitor, and it's driving me crazy, is do HDR. When you have HDR on, depending on what game you're playing, if you go with SDR, like games like Dead Island 2, your yellows and oranges will look like neon colors. So you have to play with the settings. Like I literally don't like putting HDR on all the time. I normally like playing my games normal, but playing with SDR on, you have to play around with the settings. And I found out the settings is the problem is actually coming from it's basically coming from the saturation on it. If you turn the saturation down, then you can get those neon oranges, yellows out that's like real bright out of it. But then the problem happens is that the colors start fading. Even if you try to turn it down from 50% down to at least 48, 47, it just get real saturated. So basically what you have to do is you're going to have to go inside your NVIDIA controller and change the settings, the colors down. So the only thing I can tell you to do is minimize your window, go into a game that's real bright if you have the games, and just mess with the colors. You don't want it to get that neon color. You just want it, like as you see right here, I have it set perfectly because I had to do a lot of calibrations. Make sure that you download Windows HDR calibration so you can make sure you get the true colors and everything that you need, and go inside your control panel and mess with some of the colors like that. That's basically what I had to do, is to get those oranges from being so damn poppy. I will put some links inside this video right now to do your color correction. I use these videos all the time. Basically, it's a HDR. It's a 4K HDR Dolby test to show you how to see how bright it is. Normally what I do is I pop that video up, and basically what I do is if it looks too bright, I'll start calibrating the stuff to how I like it. I basically look towards the oranges, the greens, and the yellows, and the reds. So basically what I do is I try to calibrate those of what I think the colors should be. Once I calibrate it correctly, what I'll do is I'll render a video, export it, and I will watch it on a phone. and a tablet and see if it's actually the same colors, and I'll just put it towards the screen and see if it's accurate. That's what I basically do to calibrate my stuff, to make sure that my colors is basically accurate. So if it's matching up with my iPhones and my phones and my tablet and I'm getting nearly almost the same color, I leave it like that and go about my day. And I do a colored number thing, so when I do it, I try kind of like figure out what number the colors is and like that, so I try to dial in as so like that. But those are everything that I like about it. Y'all did see some gameplay stuff on here. Y'all did see the things I like on here, and I'm gonna catch you guys later. Again, this is the ROG Strix QD OLED XG27ACDMS monitor. Like I said, this is the bare minimum one. If you want all the extra bells and whistles, it's going to be a little bit money, but this is the entry one. If you want to just get into it and you want something right away that you can start playing. All right. Sunday chat commentary. I'm going to catch you guys later. That's it. And I'm out. Deuces. One. Peace. I'm out of here. Wow.